Hi guys, happy Sunday. You're welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing something very exciting. You guys don't understand how I worked hard to convince my children to get to do this interview. So today I'm going to be interviewing my children on their experience of our Nigerian trip. So come along with me as I interview them. But before I do, if you know you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to my channel. There is a lot of exciting and interesting content in my channel, so please subscribe, like and share. And if you are a returning subscriber, please do not forget to hit the notification bell, so whenever I upload new videos, you'll be the first to watch them. And please continue to comment and continue to like. I love you all. Mwah. Thank you so much for all your support and your dedication to my channel. So come along with me and watch and listen and entertain yourself as I interview my children. You're welcome back. So with me in the house, I've got my two glorious, wonderful, fantastic children with me, and I'm going to let them introduce themselves. So, you first.
Hello, I'm Ruth, and today me and my brother are going to talk about our experiences in Nigeria.
Okay, thank you, Ruth. And I also have in the house with me.
Hi, I'm David. Like we said, we're going to be talking about our experience in Nigeria.
Okay, guys, are you ready for my questions?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go. So, you're going to take it in turns to answer the questions, okay? So, just listen and take it in turns. Right, so the first what I'm going to be asking is, what was your experience like in Nigeria? What was your experience like when you went to Nigeria?
Well, it was fun. The weather was nice. And, well, it was really most of I can say that. It was fun. The weather was nice. I had a good time there. It was just, we all ran great experience.
Okay, and for me, it wasn't really a new experience as we've been multiple times before, but it was just fun to be back and to be going to school there for the first time.
I see. Well, you've already said some of the questions I'll be asking in my interview. But anyway, so what did you enjoy the most in your trip? What did you enjoy the most?
Probably starting a new school and meeting new people.
Okay.
For me, it was pretty much the same. I think my birthday party where I invited some of the new friends I made was pretty cool as well.
Okay, right. For those of you who don't know, well, Ruth and David went to school while they were in Nigeria for 2 weeks because we just wanted them to get a bit more feel about Nigeria. By the time we went, school was still in session, so they attended school for a bit. So that's why if you hear them mention school, just be aware that they went to school for about 2 weeks in Nigeria before the school broke, and then we had the rest of our holiday. Okay, thank you guys. So now, having been in Nigeria for 8 weeks, I'm very sure that there are things that you did not like while you were there. Can you share with us what things did you not like when you were in Nigeria?
The wall geckos.
So what happened to them? What about the wall geckos?
The way they're built, it's just so weird. I don't like them.
Why? But they're harmless. They don't hurt anyone.
But I would still prefer to sleep knowing that there wasn't a possibility of a gecko just being somewhere in my room.
I see. But you like insects and you like animals, David. So wall gecko shouldn't be. Or is it because of how they look, the color and everything?
Yes.
But haven't you seen a wall gecko before?
Yes, it's just they look kind of transparentish. The colors, just weird.
But they don't bite. They don't bite, do they?
No, but still, it's like how some people are afraid of spiders. Spiders don't bite, but people are afraid of them. Also, they're smaller. People are afraid of them. It's just You just don't like them.
Well, to be honest, me too. I don't like them. So I think we would share that one. It wasn't one of the things I don't like, but I just don't like because as you say, they look very. I don't know how to describe it, but the way their skin, it feels very raw, and I don't like them too. But anyway, they look what?
Feels. You touched one.
I haven't touched one before, but the look, it just feels too smooth and very tannish looking. It's not. It's not the kind of color that you will see in an animal, an insect that you want to touch. In fact, it makes you cringe when you see the color of a wild gecko. Yeah, so yeah, I share with you that in that respect. Okay, Ruth, what about you?
For me, it's quite similar to David. Mine is just the bugs. I mean, so it's not like I'm terrified of bugs or anything, but it's just in Nigeria, I felt like every single bug I saw was going to bite me. And it was like, because I've seen a lot of new bugs and things, like creepy crawlies I've never really seen before. So when I'm walking around in the garden playing football with my brother, and then I see some kind of bug, and I'm wearing my sandals, I start to run because I just feel like it's going to bite me. I'm just terrified of it biting me. So.
Okay, so both of you have talked about your things you don't like in terms of animals. But what about in terms of the environment, the people that you meet, the things around you? So what other thing did you not like when you were in Nigeria, apart from the insects and the creepy crawly things?
I didn't like the fact that there were so many places that I don't try to sound offensive. So many places that seem kind of run down and off. I kind of would have preferred it if it was a bit more like the UK here, where most houses are nice and built. It just makes me feel kind of bad that I'm living in such a good place while other people are living in old and run down buildings. So I prefer to see more better buildings in Nigeria.
Great. Well, Ruth, what about you?
For me, it's the state of just the state of the area. I mean, right outside the house where we stayed in, there was a ton of rubbish bins, and there was rubbish spilling on the road, and it just smelled terrible. And that was just something that I didn't like about the place, about the area.
Yeah, but yeah, you're right that there was there was a bin. So we were unlucky to have the bin collection sites close to our house for the estate that we live in. But apart from that, the estate itself was lovely, wasn't it? It was just that, but they came every week to collect the bin anyway, so it was well managed and everything. So, but yeah, I agree with David that as soon as you step outside of our estate, you get the feel of a rundown environment and rundown houses. And yeah, I think it's not something that you can control, because of course there's poverty in Nigeria, so it's not something you can control. But what can you do? You can only pray and hope that the Lord will bless everyone to be able to live in a better house and environment. Okay, so is there anything? So for instance, we stayed in Enugu City, which is where you come from. Is there anything that you would kind of want to see more of in the city? So in the city where we live, is there anything that you would like to see more of? Is there anything that you would wish the government or the people would put in place in the city so that you have more of it? Or anything like that?
Not really, no. I feel like they had pretty much everything that we needed. So I don't really feel like we could have been much better.
I think about the same. I don't think there is anything that I felt like needed adding to the place or to the. Yeah, I just felt it was okay the way it was, really.
Okay. Oh, well done, guys. For me, I think there's something that they need to add to the city. Like, for instance, we couldn't find
parks and play places. They didn't have many of those. That's something I would actually like to see more of.
Yeah, I agree. That's what I was just about to say, David. I agree with you that there's one thing that we didn't see a lot of when we were in Enugu. Maybe because we're not so used to the city and we haven't. Maybe that's why. But I really, when I went to Nigeria and there, because I had my little daughter and sometimes she just wanted to go to a park to play, but we couldn't find any park sort of that had things that children can play with. In fact, they lacked facilities for children. That's what I think I would have loved to see more in the city. A park and a playground for children that is open, and a place where children can just run around, and have a feel of nature. We couldn't find that in Enugu city, and the few places that we went to, which they told us had parks, they were more like amusement park, and they were very they were run down, or they were not functioning, or some of it the prices were just ridiculous. I mean, we went to a park, and this amusement park was actually in a hotel. So but then and there was no one, actually we were the only people there, and we're told to enter into the park was £1,000. Now there was like about 7 of us, so getting to the park was £1,000 each. And I said okay, and then they said per ride is £1,000, and I'm thinking there's about just 6 or 7 rides, and if I have 7 people who will all want to go on a ride, because there's only 4 rides, so obviously people would like to go into all of the rides. I mean, I can't be paying 7,000 to get in, 7,000 per person per ride. I didn't have that amount of money. Even if I had that amount of money, I just felt it was just too much for what it was. And then we decided to go to another park to see if we can get something, but obviously either the park was under construction, the Magic Gardens, whether it was under construction or something, we just couldn't get. In fact, the place was in a mess, so we couldn't. There's no dedicated big park for children. Now somebody said we could go to Opera Square, but we never actually went there. They said it was an open space, it's like a garden, but we couldn't. I mean, we couldn't go there for some reason, and we didn't see that. But someone said Opera Square. But I think if the government can do something towards having a place for children, like in Port Harcourt, there's a place called Pleasure Park. Is it Pleasure Park? That place we went to, Port Harcourt. Beautiful. They had a park, they had swings and slides, and they had the trampoline things. I mean, they had things for children, and the fee wasn't, you pay at the gate, you get in. The park bit of it was free, but then if you wanted to go on a boat ride, or if you wanted to do some other fun things, you can pay for those, and the price wasn't bad, like £500, £200, and it was amazing. I mean, my son David likes running about. He likes burning off energy. So there was a massive park that he could run around and just, play. And that's one thing that we didn't see in Enugu. And I mean, it would be wonderful if they could have more. You find there's a lot of restaurants, isn't it, guys?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Too many restaurants. And I'm thinking, I mean, don't people cook in their houses and eat? There's just too many restaurants, too many fast food. But then nothing for children. Absolutely nothing for children. So please, if the Enugu state government or any well-meaning Nigerian who has the resources or who would like to do that, I mean, it would be wonderful just to give children the feel of being part of a community as well. So for me, that's what I think. Anyway, so we're going to go on to school. So you guys have talked about going to school, blah, blah, blah. So we're going to go, I'm going to ask some questions about your experience in school in Nigeria. So you went to school in Nigeria. We don't need to mention more the school. You went to school in Nigeria for 2 weeks. So I'm just going to ask you some questions around that. So what was it like going to school in Nigeria?
Very fun, and it was quite nice having people from around your own country or like origins there, because things that would be very different in the UK were a regular being for them. So it was quite fun being able to truly like be a proper Nigerian in the school. So that was quite fun.
It was good to know what the school was like, how they did things, how they run things, how different it was from the UK. We get to see like both sides of it. We get to go to school. We've been to school here in the UK, and we got to go to school for a little bit in Nigeria. So, I mean, it's great to see both, to see how they're both run.
And so, in terms of how it's been run, what did you experience any form of discipline, or what do you think what's the discipline like in schools in Nigeria compared to the UK?
I would say it's kind of freer. It's not exactly so free that you can do almost anything. It's still got rules and regulations, but I want to keep you as restricted. I feel like they got the baselines and then they leave all the excess stuff out, and it's
Excess stuff like what?
For instance, like one example is you can talk in the hallways when you're going to lessons. In the UK, now, for instance, that would be, that would probably lead to a detention in classes in the UK. You're allowed to talk or go to lessons. As soon as you go to your lesson, you try to dial down on the talking. So they have the baselines, and they don't really have the excess. And I mean, because you can be freer in your lessons and interact with more people socially as well.
I believe that it's actually stricter there, because here in the UK, if you do something against the rules, you get a detention. I don't know, some schools do it at schools, some schools do it during lunchtime. But for my school, you get an after school detention, which is about 45 minutes. But over there, they don't do detentions. As soon as you break one of the rules, they call your parents, and they bring the parents into school. So I that's what I've been told by several of my friends. So I feel like it's stricter over there actually, and well, yeah, I think it's just a little bit easier over here having to go to after school detention instead of bringing your parents into school after you break just one rule. So.
So, but then in the area of like, so some people think, oh, I mean, when I grew up in Nigeria in those days, they used to do like flogging and things like that, punishments given to you by the principal or other children. Did you observe and notice anything like that in terms of discipline-wise, punishment, or they flog you, or they make you to go and kneel down and things like that? Did you experience any of that while you were in Nigeria?
Yeah, so it was the kneel down thing, but apart from that, anytime anybody else got flogged or beaten was just as a joke. Not really harshly, no.
Yeah, like David said, they mostly just joke around about flogging. Like, some of the teachers are very carefree. Maybe they'll flog someone as a joke, not properly flog someone, maybe like a light tap as a joke. But one of my cousins was telling me about how in her school, if you do something bad, you might have to scrub the toilets or something, or they'll flog you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and then there was another time that I actually got in trouble for doing something. It wasn't a big deal, but my friend, the problem was blamed on my friend, and she got her ear pulled by one of the teachers. So, I mean, I don't think the teacher was being serious about it. But, I mean, yeah, I feel like those things do occur if you do something bad enough.
So basically what you're saying is that it's not there. So it's not as if they flog people or they make punishment. As it was very rare that you saw those things in the school that you were. And even if it happened, it was more like a joke. So it wasn't like a serious form of punishment, because sometimes people are scared that, oh, if I take my child to school in Nigeria, they flog them and they do this. But I mean, from people's account, that wasn't there. Even if it did happen, it was more of a joke, not like as if a sort of a punishment per se. It was more like a friendly kind of joke that the teacher had with the student or maybe other students. So basically, people don't need to be scared about their children being flogged or punished in Nigeria. Now, having talked of your cousin and the cousin school, maybe that could just be depending on the school that she is and maybe their level of strictness. But I think the schools that you guys were was more an international school, so they were very international conscious and knowing that they have children from different countries and from different walks of life, so they were just a bit more cautious with that. And they had very strict rules in terms of if you break a rule, they get a parent straight on and they'll trash that with the parents and that'll be the end of it. So there was no form of kneeling down, punishing, flogging. There was none of that. So yeah, I mean, good to hear that's happening in Nigeria. So in terms of rules, David, you've mentioned that they were not very strict anyway, but like in comparison to the UK, are the rules clear? Do you know the things that you're supposed to do and what you're not supposed to do? And if any of the rules are broken, is it the case that no matter even if it's a little or a big thing, they'll have to call your parents in? What was it like, the rules?
I think the rules were very clear. As if it's just a little thing, I don't really tend to call my parents. For instance, I was late to one of my lessons by 5 minutes. I think I forgot what my lesson was. It's not like they come you or daddy just because I was late for my lesson. They just said that they'd keep me 5 minutes and to make up for it. And that's it.
I actually quite disagree with David about the rules being clear. Like, when when I first came to my school in the UK, they had a list of rules for me. They gave me a list of rules. I knew all the rules really, but when we went to our school in Nigeria, they didn't tell us any of the rules. They just sent us to our classroom. So, I mean, I don't think the rules were very clear. And with the calling parents in, I don't think it's for small matters. If it's like a tiny matter, like David said, if you're late to class, then I don't think they'll call your parents in. But I wasn't really told much about that. I mean, no one really told me much about the rules, which is why I got in trouble, because I didn't know what the rule was, which is, I mean, yeah.
And by the way, this is secondary school we're talking about, because Ruth and David are in secondary school, so this is not primary school. So basically what you're saying is you prefer for them to tell you the school rules straight on, so you know exactly what you should do and what you shouldn't do, instead of letting you find out the rules from your friends. Is that what you're saying? Okay, I think that's a fair point, because then as soon as you get into school here, secondary school here, you know the rules, you know the do's and don'ts straight on. So it's not like you're hearing from a second person's account, so you know exactly for yourself. So yeah, that's a good point to raise, and probably to every other school out there in Nigeria who might be watching this. So ensure that your students know your rules, your school rules straight on, so that they know what to do and what not to do. Okay, now the food in school, because when you guys were in school, you had school dinners. So what was it like compared to, I mean, I'm not going to compare to the UK, because the recipes and the foods are different, because it was more Nigerian kind of food you guys had while you were there. I mean, the foods you have in the UK here is different from that. So, but what was it like, the foods you ate in school? Can you just tell us a little bit more? Were they good? Were you liked? Can you explain to us?
They were all delicious. For instance, I think my favorite was the swallow or gari. It was nice. It was well cooked. There was rice and there was soups as well.
So they gave you guys gari in school?
Yes.
True. How are you supposed to eat the gari then? You wash your hands and you eat?
Yeah. Sometimes you can ask. Sometimes they give you a spoon as well. I had a spoon. So they gave you. It's more like traditional Nigerian dishes that they give you at school. It's quite nice to eat them there. They're quite flavourable, and I really like them. So
Flavorable. They word called flavorable.
I think so.
They're full of flavor. Okay, Ruth, what about you?
I mean, I can't really say much about the school dinner. I didn't really eat that much, because I'm not really the type of person to eat lunch at school. So I can't really tell you much about that.
What did you like or enjoy the most while you were at school? So what is your most loved experience of school, your experience of school in Nigeria?
I think mine would have to be the last day of school. It was quite fun having people interact with each other, socially. I was trying to find out new things about my friends and just interact socially with people from other classes and all around new people. So very fun.
Yeah, mine was also the last day of school, the class party, where we just hung out, just listened to music, danced, we had food. It was just a great time, really. And also the summer school. We went to summer school for about just one day, and I liked how it was just very free. I mean, we were just running around and having a great time, doing whatever. We did a bit of cooking too, which I found quite enjoyable. So.
And then in terms of subjects, what subjects did you enjoy the most in school?
Art and maths. Our art teacher was very nice. She's very friendly. She just loves to draw, really, and she's really good at it. And so she was always praising us for our work, always encouraging us and telling us we can do better, especially David. And
Says you, first when you started drawing, how to looking like chips.
yeah, but I got better. I got better at drawing hands. So, I mean, yeah, our art teacher was very enjoyable, very fun. Because my art teacher here in the UK, she doesn't really let us do a lot of drawing. It's mostly just talking about Picasso and things, and talking about the type of work that we're doing, and not really actually doing any work. So, I mean, then we got to draw a lot. And our maths teacher, who was very energetic, always jumping about and shouting and praising us whenever we get something right. So yeah, those were the two subjects that we found the best.
Was that the same for you as well? Did you enjoy art and maths?
Yeah, art and maths.
Oh, I see. And was the maths difficult? As in, was it difficult compared to what you're used to doing here?
No, kind of medium, because a lot of the time we covered the same things we did in the UK, and sometimes we did something new. So it was kind of a mix of easy and hard.
Okay, I see. Now, what about in school? Do you have any moment or any experience or anything that you say, I didn't really like that in school, your school experience so far in Nigeria?
Not really.
No, the fact that when you're late, they keep you for so long.
That wasn't the school's thing. That was Mr. Martin, our English teacher. He's the one
part of the school, though.
I came in exactly on time one day. Exactly on time, and he was in a phone call which took half of our lesson time. And when he finished the phone call, he started telling me that I came late. So he kept me in another 30 minutes, making me late for my next lesson. And that teacher now kept me in for another 30 minutes, and so on and so forth. So I was late for all my lessons that day because that teacher decided that I was late after he was the one on a phone call for about 30 minutes. And I almost missed my free period because at the end, me and David, we get like a free period before the end of the day. So it was just Mr. Martin.
It was just Mr. Martin's thing.
Yeah.
The other teacher, they did it for me. Like, even if I come even 5 minutes early, maybe, they'll still keep me for an extra 30 minutes. Like,
Maybe
maths,
that's just because they have a lot to cover. And our maths teacher, she kept me for 2 hours, and I came on time. I know. He just loves maths. He kept me in so long too.
Well, at least it shows he's enthusiastic about what he teaches.
Yeah.
What he teaches, so that's good. So did you, as I said, did you find the subject? Well, you've answered that. The maths was okay. It was a medium, so you didn't really find it hard or you didn't really find it difficult. So it was in the middle. Okay. So right, let's move on to the foods, Nigerian foods. So which local foods did you enjoy?
Well, I enjoyed pretty much all of them. It was quite nice. Like,
What do you mean by all of them? Which local food did you eat?
Like, there was a snail.
Okay.
Yeah, the snail was good.
The snail was quite nice.
Mm-hmm.
Then, I'm not sure if this counts as a local food since it's a fruit, but we had lots of stuff on upper in it. The fruits. I quite like the upper.
What?
The upper, the fruits.
Upper.
Yeah.
Okay.
The fruits.
Okay.
I quite like that. It's not, doesn't really count as local, but
it's local.
It is local. Oh, it's local. Yeah.
Mm.
I just thought since it's a fruit.
You call it fruit, but it's not fruit though. It's a
not
seed.
fruit.
So which they grind it and they make it look like You mean the one that look like moi moi?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of orangey.
The orangey kind of thing. Yeah. It's a local dish in Enugu. So you enjoyed that as well.
Yeah.
Ruth, what about you?
Not really a big fan of it. It wasn't. I didn't really enjoy a lot of it. It was just okay. I just mainly ate rice and noodles. That was basically it.
But you guys had some of my nkwobi, didn't you?
Yeah.
David, you had some of my nkwobi.
That was nice.
You had some of my ishewu. Do you know what it is, David? Do you remember what it is?
No.
So why you say yes, it's nice, but you don't remember what it is?
Because I know I would have thought that was nice.
Yeah, well, the truth is that David will eat anything and everything. David is not fussy about food, but Ruth is very, very fussy about food. So Ruth didn't tend to eat quite a lot of local food because she's very fussy about food. But David will eat everything and anything, and then he will tell you it's like nice. Whether he remembers what it is or he will tell you everything is nice. So that's David's account. Now, in terms of which foods would you like to see a bit more in Nigeria or in Enugu City? Which kind of things would you like to see more in terms of food?
Sausages and bacon.
Yeah, sausages, bacon.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said the amount of times, I just wanted to have some sausages there or some bacon, and there's just been none of it. And cheese as well.
Cheese.
We couldn't find any cheese.
Yeah.
Or any good cheese, really.
You know, all those fruits, we couldn't find common fruits like strawberries and grapes. So we couldn't find much of that either. So.
But I did quite enjoy the amount of fruits we had, like the watermelon and pineapple. Like we'd buy at least one on the street every single week at least.
Really,
Yeah, and then we'd have like a feast. So that was quite good. I quite enjoyed those.
So basically, what I'm trying to say is that there's not a lot of international food. So we struggled to find cheese. They had mozzarella cheese, but we don't tend to eat quite a mozzarella cheese. We eat a lot of cheddar cheese. We couldn't find cheese. I mean, you had shops like Spar and ShopRite who had mozzarella cheese, but the actual cheese that you can use to cook, the cheddar cheese, we couldn't find those. I mean, I think I did find mac and cheese one day that we had, and you guys really enjoyed that. And then I went back to buy more, but unfortunately I think maybe they've been on the shelf for too long, and some food ants got into them. So when I opened them to cook, and I found lots of ants in them, so we couldn't cook them. But I mean, things like cheese, things like sausages, even the day I found fish finger, it was like heaven on earth. I was so happy. I bought loads and came back and I opened it, and I tell you, I can't even describe what the fish finger looks like. David, did you eat the fish finger that I cooked? That did you eat it?
Yes.
How was it?
Disgusting.
Yeah, I mean, by the time we opened it, it was nothing to write about. I mean, it could just be depending on the country where you are bringing it from. But the fish finger was nothing like the fish finger you buy from the shops here. But eventually but we had lots of chips. We could buy lots of good quality chips in Spar and ShopRite, and then we just have those with egg, fry them and have them with egg. But there was not enough of, I mean, like cities like Lagos, you can find a lot of things because Lagos is very, very, very cosmopolitan and very open, and you have lots of foreigners. But you still have foreigners in Enugu as well. But it's just that in Enugu, they don't have that foreign food. It's not there. We really struggle. I mean, the time I found the mixed veg, I was over the moon. But then you cooked the mixed veg and it looked like you were eating it. They want to say it looked like you were eating
rocks.
It's like you were eating rocks. They were so hard, and no matter how hard you cooked them, they never get done or cooked. So yeah, we found those, but there was not enough of it. And when you do find them, the quality is like different from what you usually have in the UK. So the kids really struggled with their mac and cheese, their spaghetti bolognese, their what do you call it? What do you call it? Pasta bake. All of those we couldn't have, and so we kind of resorted to lots of Nigerian dishes. And Ruth, being Ruth, she spent most of her time eating rice because that's basically the only thing that she could eat. But we had baked beans, isn't it? We could find baked beans, so we had baked beans. And then Ruth did not like the bread in Nigeria, so we were busy looking for bread. The only bread you could eat was the Easy Bite. So you like the Easy Bite in Abuja, but when we got back down to Enugu, we couldn't find the bread that Ruth liked. So obviously she wasn't having bread because she didn't like any of the bread there. So that was also something that was a bit difficult for us. And you couldn't find sliced bread. That's one thing I noticed. It's very hard to find sliced bread. You find lots of bread that you have to slice yourself, but the actual sliced bread itself, you couldn't find it. And a few times I did find, and I went back again to find it in Spar. They told me, oh, they only slice it in the evening. I should come back in the evening. I was like, if you can slice it in the evening, why can't you slice it now? And the guy was like, no, we only slice in the evening. So you say that you go in the evening to buy sliced bread, or you just buy a bread that you have to slice yourself. So which didn't help matter, because then if you want to have your toast and everything, you have to start slicing the bread. So that we didn't find. So yeah, I think a bit more international food in the stores in Enugu would be wonderful if we can find those in there. So now we're going to go to the next one. Church in Nigeria. How did you find church in Nigeria?
Well, it was kind of boring. They didn't have much stuff for children there. But the vibe was good. It was quite nice and energetic, really. Yeah. So church, there's looks of good and bad. So.
Yeah, like David said, it's very joyful. People always dancing and singing during the worship. I mean, people have no problem with you jumping in the aisle, and just like singing and pouring your heart out, and everyone does that. It's just really fun, and the music's loud. Everyone's enjoying themselves. But here in the UK, it's like everyone's sad, like statues, just standing there and singing and not dancing, and not letting themselves enjoy the praise and worship. It's just really dead, to be honest. But yeah, like David said, there's no children's service. But you
guys had youth. You guys went to the youth church, isn't it?
Yeah, but it wasn't
like
very.
the main church. It's like just children there.
Yeah, like the main church.
They don't have really children activities.
It wasn't really child friendly, to be honest. It was, I mean, a lot of people enjoyed it, but that's because that's what they're used to. But because me and David are used to different things, like in the church that we go to in the UK, I mean, we go outside, we do a lot of fun activities, we run around. But I mean, people were jumping around. The children and the youth were like jumping around and enjoying themselves and singing and dancing. But it is not really the sort of thing that David and I are used to. So it was just a bit different. I just didn't really like it that much.
That's the children bit. Oh, David, there's something that you said about the church in Nigeria. What is it? Something that you keep complaining about.
The noise, it was so noisy. It was like they had like speakers, 4 or 5 speakers for every row, and then the pastor was shouting into his mic, and it was like so loud.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that's one thing that you really complained about. The noise is like it's too much noise. And it's not as if there are no speakers. There are speakers everywhere, but then the pastor is screaming into his mic, and the whole place is. Yes, I know you did complain a lot. So that's one thing that you didn't like about Nigerian churches. It's just the noise, isn't it? The noise. Anything else you liked or you didn't like about Nigerian churches?
Pretty good, pretty much, yeah.
Okay, so I mean, I wanted to ask what's the difference between Nigerian church and the UK church, but you kind of summarized it. And I think for you guys, one thing that you didn't really like was that they didn't have a dedicated children church per se. So it's like they were doing the same thing in the children church as the main church. Was it like a TV you were watching from or a speaker?
No, they like performed their own thing, like as they were singing their own songs in the main church. We were also singing, but it might have been different songs.
Okay.
I mean, and then it's really close to each other, so we can hear what they're doing in the
Okay.
other church too. It's very noisy, so it was like 2 songs playing at the same time.
Wow.
So, I mean,
so you guys had something different, but it's just that it just felt as if you were in the main church. It didn't feel like a children church per se.
Yeah.
I see. I get it. Okay, so what was your highlight in Nigeria? So what was the one memory that you think, oh, this is something I can never forget about my trip in Nigeria?
I feel like for me it was definitely the food, but I feel like also the people that you met there was so nice and friendly, and they felt. And it's not like in the UK when people are dodgy about things. Like for instance, like this is red or black. Like they like in general. I don't mean that people in the UK can't be decisive, but in general, I feel like people that were more decisive and quick with their decisions. I really liked that about them. For one thing, it was just really nice meeting new people as well.
Yeah, for me it was my birthday party, because my birthday was during the holiday, and so I invited quite a few friends from the school, and I mean, we just had a lot of fun. There was like 11 of us, and we all went swimming in the hotel nearby our house. It was just a great time, and we all had fun. We all enjoyed ourselves. We came back and we had food. We talked. It was just great. That's something that I'm probably going to remember from that trip.
Okay, and what about you talked about the house and you liked
Yeah.
outside.
Playing outside in the garden with David, and also my dad's friend. He used to come and join us sometimes, and we have our like garden area. We have our grassy area, and then our dad also put like a sand pit, and then he put our trampoline there, and he's planning on getting a basketball hoop for us because we're both quite sporty. And then we have our little swings area where we sit down and we can talk, and we're underneath shade and we're swinging gently. So it's really nice, really enjoyable to go outside and just relax once in a while, since it's nice and hot outside. And we don't need to worry about it being cold and things. So it's just really fun.
Okay, so do you see yourself living in Nigeria? So let's say, for instance, somebody says, oh, you're going to go back to Nigeria. Do you see yourself actually going back and living there?
Yeah, definitely.
Why do you say so?
Very fun there. And a really nice thing to live there permanently.
I mean, I don't, like here in the UK, I know everybody already. It's not a thrill every day like it used to be. Like when I first came into my school in the UK to my secondary school. It was fun. It was enjoyable. And even after I knew everyone, I mean, I only knew them by their names and like maybe a few of their birthdays. So I was finding out new things about them every single day, which was fun. It was like something to enjoy, right? And then like there was school activities. But nowadays, after the COVID, the school doesn't do anything. The school doesn't do much, and I already know everyone. So I'm not really doing anything now. I'm just going to school, doing my work, coming back, homework and sleep and do it all over again. So it's boring. And like, I feel like in Nigeria, because I'm meeting new people and having new experiences, trying new food, just living a different life, living in a different house with a different layout and things like that. It's just going to be like much more fun than it would be here in the UK, where I've already lived in the UK for 13 years now. It's just not that fun anymore.
Well, the whole of your life now, isn't it?
Yeah,
because you're 13.
the whole of my life.
So you've lived there the whole of your life. David, what about you?
Like I said, it was a really fun experience to live there. Yeah, just like nice meeting new people and having people in the environment. Like, I feel like I said this before, but in the UK, certain things that wouldn't be normal for them and normal for people in Nigeria. So it'd be really fun. You want to be some you can go to kind of be more into your culture at school and other places, and just be really fun being able to live there.
I see. But I knew, when I'm going back to the question that I asked, what's your highlight? But you didn't tell us about the chicken, David. You didn't tell us about the chicken and the goats and the other things.
So we had a pet chicken.
We ate
really
it.
nice. Yeah, we ate it.
Well, that's what you do, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that chicken was good. At first I was actually sad, but that chicken was...
Yeah, he was very sad because he likes animals. When we go to the village to see our grandma and grandpa, they have a few goats. They have they used to have chicken, but they ate them all. So I mean, they have goats, and this boy, he was like obsessed with them. He was following them around, and
he was stalking them.
Yeah, he was stalking them. Like, yeah, he was like plucking leaves from the tree to give to them, and trying to carry around the baby goats because I think so when we came to Nigeria maybe 2 years ago, there was this goat who gave birth, and so we were thinking that by now the goat would have been eaten and it would have already grown up and eaten. But when we came back this year, turns out they had kept the goats and had given birth to 2 new babies. So this boy, he was following them around and trying to carry them and trying to pet them and stuff. So I mean, yeah,
David the goat stalker.
yeah.
But then your chicken, you didn't tell us how you were looking after your chicken.
Oh, the chicken, yeah, I fed it daily. It was quite, and I gave it water.
And he tried to make a shelter for it, and I mean, it was quite and it was like this sort of chicken that goes around and he sits on the like near the doorstep and starts pooping all over the place. So I mean, yeah.
Yeah, so but that's a good highlight for you, David, because I know you love nature and you love animals. So basically, you found a match for what you like. You know, you found lots of animals that you could actually play with and kind of have like pets, even though you know what's going to happen to the pets at the end of the day. But
at first, when you said you found like something that you can connect with, I thought that you meant that I was an animal for it.
You are an animal, but like.
Like a proper animal, like chicken. I thought you were implying that.
David, you are an animal, according to Ruth.
Yeah, you are an animal.
Well, I am. But we all are, technically.
But you're more of an animal than the rest of us.
You're gonna die in the next few years.
Okay,
Right.
So let's keep going. David. So now, what advice would you give to people who are out there, like children like you who are out there who want to go back to their countries, who want to experience their country, but they have fear of what is it like living in Africa? Well, not necessarily be Nigeria, they might be African for many, but what is it like? Oh, I don't think I can live there, I don't think I can go there. What advice would you give to those children?
Try the food, it's very nice.
Maybe it's not all about food. What else? You like food too much. what advice can you give to people if they are scared of trying out going to Africa? What advice can you give to children of your age?
Don't be afraid to try new things. It's very nice there. It's not a kind of place where people would pay to where everyone's homeless and and everybody has to struggle to find food every day. It's a very nice environment and really is just a great place to try new things and have a new experience. So don't be afraid to try new things and go out. Yeah.
I mean, like, I feel so going to Nigeria or going to Africa, if you want to go back, then you should, because it's a nice place. It's just, I mean, if that's where you come from, then you should definitely go back. It's a nice place. And I know, like, you might see things on the news or you might hear from other people around you that Africa's not a good place, that people are dying every day, the sickness going around.
What did your friends say when you tell them that you're going?
Like, sometimes when I was younger, I mean, now they know better, but when I was younger and, like, I would tell them I'm going to Nigeria for the holiday, like, some of them, they wouldn't say anything. They just look at me strangely. And other people would be like, oh my gosh, where are you going to sleep? Are you going to be homeless? What kind of food are you going to eat? Like, there's no food there, so what are you going to eat? And I would just be thinking, these guys are really stubborn, but you know. So, I mean, it's not even that bad. As long as you have a job, you can support yourself, as long as you have a household and you have, like, food, you have money coming in regularly, then you'll be able to like have a decent living. It's just like here, if you don't have money, then you can't. I mean, you might as well end up homeless. It's exactly the same over there. If you don't have any money, then that's what's going to happen to you. So, I mean, you don't have to worry about going there and ending up homeless immediately after you get there. It's not like that. So you shouldn't be afraid of going back. It's not a scary thing to do. It's actually quite an enjoyable place, quite a lovely place if you go to the right places.
Yeah. Oh, good. Well done, guys. Wow. I hope you have enjoyed listening to the children, and I hope you've also learned one or two things from their experience. I want to say thank you to David and Ruth for giving me the opportunity and for obliging me to come to the channel to talk about your experience. And I hope that children out there all over the world who have also had the dream, not just children, but parents who had the dream to take their kids to Africa to experience Nigeria or any part of Africa for the very first time, who are a bit scared. And I hope that you can hear from the children's account that it's a wonderful place. Yes, there's a lot of bad things going on there. Yes, there's a lot of insecurity and all of that. But as the children said, if you watch where you're going, do the right things, you will have fun. I mean, they went to school. It's their first time going to school in Africa. They went to school and they have, as you can hear, they have wonderful experience and they had lots of opportunities to tell about their experience in Nigeria. So, to be honest, Africa is good, Nigeria is good, and as well, it's good for you to experience life from a different perspective. I mean, sometimes you get so stuck and so used to the same thing. So it's always good to go out and see different things and experience life differently. And maybe that might help change your outlook to life and to things. So guys, if you got any more questions, if you got anything you want to ask the kids a bit more about their experience, if it be it school, be it food, be it whatever, please feel free to write and leave a comment in the description box below. If there's a question, fantastic. If there's a comment, fantastic. Please feel free to do those. And I want to say again, thank you to two of you. And well, that is it for today. And I hope you all have a fantastic week ahead. Bye-bye.
Bye. See that? It's the man. It's amazing. So cute, aren't they? Feed it some more, David. Really, Rachel?
Yeah.
David, let her feed it.
Rachel, would you like to feed it? Would you like to feed it?
And that was your pencil.
Sorry.
Okay, now hold out the...
Now hold out the stick.
Yes, and hold it out. Make sure I can see it. No, Rachel, go closer. Yes. Now stick out your hand as far as it can go. As far as it can go. That's not as far as it can go.
Okay, let me take a documentary of the goat first.
Okay, let's go then. Come on.
Let me get you guys.
All right.
Can you get us with the babies?
The baby's all the way up there.
It's fine.
Let her touch the goat.
Let me get a quick video of the babies, yeah? I already... No, David, no, stop! Seriously.
I can do it really quick.
You got some.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you.
I don't sure that it's beginning I want you. You will be starting in Montana. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, see guests in the house, mommies and daddy, please I need your ovation on this cutting of this cake. We'll be cutting this cake with the spirit of the Lord Jesus. When I said I need a chair in the house, I want you to echo with me, equally chain, onto the last word. And I without wasting time, ladies and gentlemen, mommies and daddies, everyone is so ready to cut the cake. Alright, on behalf of the man in the house, can I I'm not serious, you don't want to. You don't want to do it. Alright, mommies and daddies, will you put your hands on me? Alright. Please, can I get a chair in the house? Can I get an E? Can I get an S? Without wasting time, can I say you? What are we waiting for? I'm not sure. Can we get the S? If you don't get money, yes, it's in your show me, see,